From Viking Village at Princeton High School, ICRC-TV Sports is pleased to present High School Hoops. Tonight, it's an epic showdown in the Greater Miami Conference as the Princeton Vikings host the Oak Hills Highlanders. Hello everyone, I'm Glenn Olson, joined by my partner Greg Miller. Greg, when these two teams got together earlier in the year, a little bit one-sided affair, but both teams have a full head of steam headed into the tournament right now. The Vikings come in with an impressive record and looking to maintain the momentum all the way through the tournament.
Yeah, the Vikings coming in at 14-6 overall, 10-4 so far in conference. Struggled last time against Oak Hills. Darius Randall, their leading scorer, really carried the load for them, 22 points on 8 of 12 shooting, but the bench didn't really come through, only 6 points out of the bench, and they fell pretty handily to the Highlanders.
Princeton comes in averaging just under 55 points a game on offense, giving up just over 49 defensively. On the other side of the ledger, the Oak Hills Highlanders are currently tied for second place in the Greater Miami Conference.
Yeah, they have a chance to win the conference, but they need a lot of help from Lakota East that it doesn't look like they're going to get. Either way, still tied for second with Mason, 11-3 in the conference, really playing well. And their leading scorer, Jacob Berkmeyer, tops in the league in field goal percentage, shooting at almost 64% from the field. Their big man's going to play a big role for them if they want to win today.
And he does lead the GMC. The Highlanders averaging just under 50 points a game offensively, and of course that Mike Price stingy defense giving up just over 44. We're going to step away and be right back with the opening tip on High School Hoops.
Looking for future leaders we can believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Ohio. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It includes learning to listen, accepting responsibility, being a good role model, and it's about respect. The result, it transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
With the rip. Dean Larry, you got to load that one up. Hey, hey.
Oh, got a little wink action there.
Hey, and set. Go! The Warriors in the state final!
Welcome back to High School Hoops on ICRC-TV Sports. Glenn Olson and Greg Miller with you high up in the stands here. Viking Village, gymnasium, beautiful facility on the campus here at Princeton High School. Great job on the national anthem. You heard the closing notes by the Milford Pep Band, and of course there you see the Princeton JROTC that presented the colors of midcourt for tonight's game. A big welcome to everyone tuning in on demand at our website, ICRC-TV.com. Greg, we started to talk about it in the pregame. It's going to be an exciting matchup here. Both these teams, again, trying to maintain that momentum heading into the tournament. Princeton has drawn the number 5 seed in Oak Hills, number 4 in the Division I tournament here in Southwest Ohio.
Yeah, you know, both teams coming off good wins last week. Princeton against Middletown, Oak Hills against Hamilton. So they're both coming in feeling good about themselves, both having pretty good seeds coming into the tournament and really looking to build on it and see what they can do for the last 2 games here in the season.
Good crowd on hand here tonight at Princeton High School for senior night. We're awaiting player introductions from our crew down at the scorers table. Touching back to the tournament, as we said, Princeton is a 5 seed. They'll be taking on Anderson. A little bit of a rebuilding project for the Redskins this year. They've struggled mightily. And Oak Hills will be taking on the winner of Edgewood and Elder, drawing a first-round bye.
You know, that's always what you're looking for in the tournament. It's just get some sort of advantage, some sort of bye. You know, obviously Oak Hills has had a very, very impressive year. 11-3 in the conference, 14-6 overall. I mean, coming in 4-game winning streak, they've really played well, and I expect them to keep it up, you know, this game and throughout the tournament.
So these two teams did meet just over a month ago, January 11th. As we mentioned at the top of the show, Oak Hills won 69-54. And really the surprising aspect, as you talked about earlier, just the lack of bench production from Princeton in that game. I mean, going through the stats, they've got 8 guys or 8 players who are really key contributors, and it only gets 6 points off the bench really hurt them.
Yeah, I think poor shooting off the bench, and then, you know, really just having to make Darius Randall be the only person that could hurt them. You know, their second leading scorer, Cleo Davis, did put up 12 points, but only on 3 of 12 shooting. So we're going to have to look for a much better all-around effort. But, you know, if there's one person that you want to try to put the load on, it's Darius Randall. You know, averages 13 points a game, had 22 last time. And then in the last game against Middletown, had 20 points and 6 steals. So he not only gets after it on the offensive end, but the defensive end as well.
Yeah, Davis was 2 of 5 from beyond the 3-point line in that game, a perfect 4 for 4 from the free throw, but inside the arc, he just couldn't get anything going, and that's a tribute to that tenacious defense exhibited by the Highlanders in that game.
And that's the real problem that you're going to have to run into if you're Princeton. You know, not a lot of easy looks inside, especially some senior leadership at the, you know, the big man position. So they're going to have to really shoot well from the outside and try to find a way to manufacture some points, whether it's through some offensive rebounds or at the free throw line.
Give you the starters as of about 10 minutes ago when I was courtside. The referee signed to this attest, so they shouldn't change. For the Vikings, number 1, Caleb Crawford, a 6'2" junior guard. Number 3, Darius Randall, a 6-foot junior guard. Number 10, Greg Johnson, a 6-foot sophomore guard. Number 24, Jaheim Thomas, a 6'5" junior forward. For Oak Hills, number 40, DeAndre Hayes, he's a 6'1" senior guard. Number 15, Cam Brandt, he's a 6-foot junior guard. Number 21, Zach Moeller, 6'2" senior guard. Number 22, Jacob Berkemeyer, is a 6'4" senior forward. Of course, the Vikings are coached by Stephen Wright, and Oak Hills by the previously mentioned Mike Price, who picked up his 400th win a few weeks ago. We'll touch on that a little bit later in the game. We'll apologize in advance to the Highlanders fans. These jerseys are difficult on the eyes from our broadcast position. We'll do our best to get the numbers right. Micah Thomas is going to take the tip for the Vikings. A little bit of a struggle for control right off the bat, and we're going to get a jump ball on the opening tip. That's something you don't see a whole lot.
A lot of tenacity. You know, both these teams come out playing well, so they're going to try to get after it, and so looks like we're going to try it again up here.
Yeah, we'll have to redo the tip since neither team was able to firmly gain control from the opening tip. That's Matt Velton who's going to put things up for grabs. Caleb Crawford will track it down. The Vikings will start on offense as Darius Randall brings it down to set up the Viking offense. We're underway from Princeton High School on High School Hoops. Drive in the middle, kick out to the left side. Vikings will work the ball back up top. That's a deep 3 for Randall. Won't go down. Not a clean rebound underneath, but the Highlanders do come up with the ball.
And that's a really deep 3 by Randall. You think maybe you want to get the ball inside, try to work it a little bit, but trying to get a little heat check early, see if things will go down for him.
Yep, You know, once you get inside that paint, that Oak Hills is going to be tenacious on defense. I think I've used that word 3 times now. So maybe soften up the perimeter and see what happens. But the Highlanders are down on offense on their side of their offensive half court, excuse me. Shot's going to come up just inside the 3-point line and fall through.
Kellen Dietrich with the jumper right there, and you can see Princeton starting off in a man-to-man. Oak Hills putting some picks on the sideline, trying to get an open jumper, which they do.
See if Princeton's able to find anything inside this time, or if they're going to settle for that perimeter shooting look. Good ball movement across the arc up top. Oak Hills really not venturing out, being too aggressive defensively.
More of a 3-man weave outside the end, you know, really looking to try to see if someone can show in the middle. You can see the big men trying to show up by the free throw line.
Well, the defense that's really in fashion in the high school and college game now is that pack line defense. It can give you a zone look, but you'll see how the players switch up out in 3-point line when their man is handling the ball. So it's really designed to go out and be aggressive, but still maintain inside the perimeter. Maintain defensive posture inside the perimeter, excuse me.
Yeah, and you try to find some weak points in the corners, in the middle. As you can see them try to get in there. Oh, and a turnover.
Caleb Crawford tried to go down. Had his pocket picked, and there's a drive straight to the basket by the Highlanders. It's Dietrich again. All 4 points in the game belong to Dietrich at this point, approaching the 5:40 mark of the opening quarter. Vikings going to have to probably up the tempo a little bit. Maybe try to catch one of the Oak Hills defenders in a switch to find a lane to the basket.
And that's one of the big things is you want to have the reversal. You want to try to catch the zone defense out of position as a deep 3 taken and missed.
And Greg Johnson's shot will not fall.
Oh, and another turnover by the Vikings.
Sloppy game so far for the Vikings, and there's a drive in the lane. Let's go back and take us through the replay, Greg.
Now you can see Randall just trying to get into the lane with a reversal, and just his pocket gets picked and is stolen by Dietrich, and he'll just take it coast to coast for an easy layup.
Greg Johnson is whistled on that foul. First free throw is good for the Highlanders. They're out in front 5-0. That's Jacob Berkemeyer. Hear his name a lot if you follow the high school game here in the Cincinnati area. 6'4" senior forward. Second shot will not fall. Berkemeyer averaging 11.5 coming into tonight's game.
Good offensive rebound there, though, by Dietrich to set up the offense again.
Boy, real sloppy game for the Vikings thus far. Just not able to get much going in terms of maintaining possession when they're not being hounded defensively by the Highlanders.
You know, you look coming in, you see Princeton actually averaging almost 8 steals a game, but so far they've gotten their pocket picked twice, almost 3 times by Oak Hills.
Yeah, it's evident watching Oak Hills warm up. They're here to play defense. They do a great job of scoring, obviously, but really their strength is their defense.
And sometimes good defense can be the best offense, as you've seen, gotten some easy looks because of their good defense and some turnovers.
Boy, a very physical game in the paint there. Jaheim Thomas took a chestful as he was trying to work his way into the paint, and once again the Vikings turn the ball over. Here come the Highlanders. 3-ball goes in from the left side for Berkemeyer, and Coach Stephen Wright is going to take his first time out of the game.
That's a good timeout there. You know, you can tell Princeton a little bit amped, and you got to kind of calm them down here at this point as you see a replay of Randall trying to take a deep 3 early in the game, but just not getting anything done here. He's their leading scorer, but he's going to have to shoot a little bit better if they're going to stay in this game tonight.
There you see Mike Price, the Highlanders head coach. We'll take you back to replay, and you'll see the last sequence there. Good ball movement, wide open defensively, and nothing but net from the corner. There's the Princeton Vikings huddle. Stephen Wright in his second year, the helm of the Vikings program after an undefeated GMC run last year. Made it to the tournament, ended up losing 2 of his star players due to some disciplinary issues, and kind of tough to play even though they hung in there and were very competitive despite the loss of those two players, but what could have been a very long tournament run ended at UD Arena.
And that gives them a little bit more pep in their step for this season, finding out what could have been, and now that they have their team ready to go, we'll see what they can do this year with a very favorable seed in the tournament.
Currently trailing 8-0, not the momentum Coach Wright looks to maintain in the final week of the regular season here in Ohio, the boys varsity basketball season. There's a 3-ball. It's going to be put up from way outside for Darius Randall, and it'll fall through. The Vikings are on the board.
Darius Randall, a very good three-point shooter, shooting almost 47% this year on over 60 attempts. So he's definitely a guy that can shoot it from out there.
The officials for tonight's game, Matt Velter, Ben Levine, and Andrew Galladino. Foul is called down on the floor.
Foul looked to be called on one of the new entrants to the game. Looked like it was number 24, Baylor Aparais.
You were close. I struggled with the two. Baylor Aparius, I was told.
Oh, I'm sorry. The foul actually on Princeton was on
Princeton?
Thomas.
Okay. So that'll be Thomas's first foul. That's Princeton's second of the half. Vikings ball trailing by 5, 8-3, approaching the 3:15 mark of the opening quarter. Princeton struggling for offensive answers here early in the game. You see Crawford thinking about driving into the paint. He'll pick up his dribble, pass it over to the left side to Randall. Randall being closely guarded now, more so than we've seen so far in the game by the Oak Hills defense. He thinks about going inside the three-point line. They're trying to feed Thomas there. He steps out of bounds. It's another mental mistake.
You can tell Princeton so far has had no sort of success anywhere inside the three-point line. Every time they seem to try to get it into the paint, it turns into steal going Oak Hills' way. So
Grant Rimbold, one of the subs, checking into the game for Oak Hills. Highlanders ball underneath the Vikings basket. They're able to inbound it. Princeton's going to try to trap. Full court pressure being exhibited by the Vikings. Oak Hills works through it pretty well so far.
Able to break the press, but you can definitely tell Princeton a little bit more aggressive on defense now, more so than they were in the first couple minutes of the game. Oh, and
yep, that forces a travel.
Picked up the pivot foot, and you can see the what can happen with a nice aggressive defense. You can get some mental mistakes and an easy turnover.
Caleb Crawford turns over number 40, DeAndre Hayes. So here come the Vikings, trailing by 5 to 2:20 mark of the opening quarter. Lone basket coming on that three-pointer by Randall. Vikings have not been able to do anything under the basket to this point. Jaheim Thomas, every time he goes down that low post position, just gets treated in a very physical manner, to put it politely. He's getting beat up down there.
Yeah, you need to see a little bit more quick ball movement out of Princeton as Caleb Crawford gets fouled there. Really just slow offensive sets, a lot of just taking the air out of the ball, not much reversals to try to beat that pack line defense that is so highly regarded of Oak Hills.
So it looks like Grant Rimbold picks up Oak Hills' first foul of the game, sending Caleb Crawford to the free throw line. But the cleanest look the Vikings have had at the basket all night. The first one won't go through. Mass substitutions on both sides of the ball. Checking in for the Vikings, Sterling Burkhalter, the 6'5" junior forward who's averaging just under 6 points a game, just under 5 rebounds and an assist.
Yeah, Crawford only about a 60% free throw shooter, so definitely something he wants to improve as he misses both of those.
It's not going to help when you're having trouble scoring points. Got to make those free throws when nobody's in your face and being physical with you. There you see Princeton, as Greg pointed out on the last possession, up in the physicality on defense. Oak Hill's able to fight through it. They don't get a clean look at the basket, though. However, they do come up with the basketball. There's a baseline drive, little ball fake in the air, and will not follow. Rebounded by the Vikings. Crawford brings it down. Boy, you thought he had a clean lane or a clean look to the basket there. With one-on-one, maybe should have went ahead and taken that one to the hole.
Yeah, he looked like he kind of got caught in the air there. Tried to maybe do a little bit too much. One-on-one there, you think he could have maybe tried to force the issue a little bit and either gotten a point or gotten some free throws.
Vikings with the ball underneath their own basket. They inbound it. Jaheim Thomas puts it up. 2 bodies all over him. Shot was well off the mark, and it dribbles out of bounds. Viking substitution. Greg Johnson checks back into the game for Caleb Crawford. Looks like he's limping a little bit coming off the floor. Maybe he got a twisted ankle down there when he was trying to pull up.
Yeah, the little one-handed jump, usually not great for the legs. So we'll see if he can sit for a little bit and get back into this game. Really would like to see Thomas just show himself a little bit more in the paint. Kind of a weak shot last time. Would like to see a little dribble back down and see if he can get some points.
Princeton once again not able to do much offensively inside the 3-point line. There's a pull-up for Randall. Won't go. Thomas gets the rebound. He gets all kinds of contact, but the shot falls through. He gets his first points of the game.
I think that's going to be really important for Princeton, not only the offensive rebound, but being physical against that tough defense. And, you know, if Randall can be physical and get some points down there, if Thomas can be physical and get some points down there, it'll really open up the rest of the defense and open up some shots for his teammates.
Well, the officials are going to let them play to an extent, but sooner or later they're going to start calling some of that aggressive play by Oak Hills under the basket until they dial it back a little bit. I don't think they're going to let this continue all 4 quarters. I've been wrong before.
Well, that's the one thing you want to force if you're Princeton is get a call, hopefully get some free throws, and, try to open up some spaces for your team.
Oak Hills dribbling out the final seconds of this first quarter, trying to get to the last shot, which they will. Shot comes up from the right side. It's off the mark, and a whistle is going to stop the clock with 6/10 remaining.
Princeton doing a really good job forcing their way back into this game after a quick 8-0 run by Oak Hills. You thought it might be a boat race here tonight, but it's gotten back to a 1-possession game.
So not much time for anything other than a catch and shoot, and that's exactly what you get. Your score at the end of the first quarter, Oak Hills 8, Princeton 5. We're going to step away for a moment and be right back with the second quarter.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
You made her college years possible, opening that education savings account when she was little, spearheading campus tours, and deciphering financial aid. If you can ace planning for college, you can do it for retirement. Get on track with tips at aceyourretirement.org.
Welcome back to High School Hoops on ICRC-TV Sports. Glenn Olson and Greg Miller with you. How many times will I get called Greg tonight may be the more pressing question. Just kidding. 8-5. Highlanders out in front. We're still in the midst of the end of quarter huddle. Both teams on the bench getting last-minute instructions by their coaching staffs. What's Princeton going to have to do to try to get some offense generated here?
You know, I think the one thing that really helped them out at the end of the quarter, down 8-0 early, getting back into the game was forcing the ball to the middle. Their big man, Jaheim Thomas, getting some points. They're either going to have to work the ball in the middle or do some quick reversals and try to break up that pack line defense as much as possible.
So Oak Hills get things started here in the second quarter thanks to alternating possession. Feed inside and swatted away by Greg Johnson. As we noted after that timeout that Coach Wright called, Princeton was going to amp up the defensive intensity, but here's a foul called on Princeton in the first 7 seconds of the second quarter.
And it looks like you may have been right there in the first quarter, maybe trying to buckle things down a little bit, not let it get too out of hand from a physical standpoint.
Like Sterling Burkhalter of the Vikings picked up his first foul. No harm, though, as Oak Hill's not able to score. Here come the Vikings. 3-pointers going in from the left side. Won't fall through for Bowen Hardman. It's rebounded by Thomas before foul's called underneath. That's going to be called on Baylor Aparius. Now he'll pick up his first foul. We were trying to give him a while ago.
No, it looked like they called that one on Thomas again.
Yep.
Yeah, that's his second.
Baylor's not going to get a foul tonight at this rate. Time I call one, it's the other way. So Thomas does pick up number 2, as Greg said. Oak Hills with the ball.
Vikings with a little bit more of a soft three-quarter court press this time, not quite as aggressive as they were at the end of the first quarter there in their press.
It's kind of odd to get an offensive foul down there as physical as the defense has been. Going back to that last foul on Thomas. Deep three-pointer off the front of the iron, no good. Coming up with the basketball is Greg Johnson for the Vikings. Still not able to come up with any type of consistent offense inside the arc.
A lot of slow weaving action by the Vikings so far. Makes it pretty easy for the pack line defense to just trade off and adjust and still kind of keep their shape. So looks like Princeton's going to have to go to something else if they're going to want to get some pressure in there.
Yep, Randall's going to up the physicality. He aggressively drives toward the basket and is fouled underneath. So he'll go to the free throw line and get 2 shots. There you see our referee, Andrew Galladino, whistling the foul. It's going to go on Zach Moeller. So Darius Randall's at the free throw line. There you're going to see Randall puts up that shot that was off the mark. There was Thomas with the rebound underneath.
Randall, the Vikings leading scorer, averaging about 13 points a game, shoots about 70% from the line.
Boy, the Vikings are just cursed from that free throw line tonight. They're 0 of 4. Think about that. You make those 4 games, you have 4 shots, you have a 1-point lead.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, with talked about defense, you don't want to leave any points on the board, especially not going 0 for 4 from the free throw line.
Well, the biggest thing for Princeton now is going to be to try to up the pace on offense, but slow it down at the free throw line and get your legs underneath you.
Yeah, you want to be able to get some sort of stop and, you know, try to press the ball down the court, maybe try to beat Oak Hills into that offense. They're going to be able to set up after that basket.
Oak Hills getting a little bit of taste of their own medicine that time. There wasn't a whole lot going on offensively for them, but they were able to find a crease in that Vikings defense and get 2 points out of the deal. So it's going to be a foul called on Princeton. Nope, Oak Hills. I believe our public address announcer said DeAndre Hayes, number 40. So that'll be his first. Oak Hills third of the half. Vikings stay on offense. Caleb Crawford resets it up top.
Be interesting to see where the Vikings try to go at this point. Top scorer Randall on the bench. Greg Johnson tries to get the ball in, but
swatted out of bounds down underneath Princeton's basket.
And there's one thing to try to get the ball into the lane, but sometimes you go a little bit out of control, and that leads to some unforced errors and another turnover there for the Vikings.
10-5, Oak Hills out in front now. Just 2 points scored through the first 3 minutes of the second quarter in this GMC matchup here at Princeton High School. Oak Hills down in their offensive end of the floor now. Good ball movement around the perimeter. Really not a lot of seams materializing. DeAndre Hayes from way downtown, it's off the mark. Good rebound underneath, but not able to hang on for Oak Hills, and a whistle.
Kind of a tough luck foul for there by Oak Hills, just fighting for the rebound, kind of losing your footing and, you know, getting called for the foul. But great job there by number 4, Micah Thomas, to, you know, box out and get the rebound.
Well, that one was definitely called on Baylor Aparius this time. Third time was the charm.
Third time we named him, first foul on him. There you go.
All right, here come the Vikings. We approach the 4:30 mark of the second quarter. Lots of open space in the paint there, but no Vikings anywhere close to it.
They're really trying to spread out the corners, trying to spread out the defense and maybe give some driving lanes. So far, none to be had for the Vikings.
Maybe an opportunity Coach Wright will recognize. Shot falls through for Greg Johnson, his first points of the game, and it's a three-pointer.
Don't need many lanes when you're hitting shots from the outside like that. Already 2 3-pointers for the Vikings so far.
Johnson coming in averaging just under 4.5 a game, so he's almost to his average. Oak Hills back down to their offensive half court quickly. Much the same. Good ball movement around the perimeter. DeAndre Hayes loses the handle on it, but able to recover before it slips out of bounds. Not a lot of room over there against the visitor stands here in Viking Stadium, or Viking Arena, I guess it is.
Yeah, you can definitely see some big pressure over there by number 1, Caleb Crawford.
Yeah,
trying to get some steal.
Great job by Crawford.
Princeton looks to transition into a 3-2 defense. Started off the defense in a man-to-man, and there's a foul down there.
I think that's going to go on Crawford. Indeed it will.
Yeah, a little bit of hand fighting there between Crawford and Cam Brandt. And they'll get Crawford there for the hold.
Highlanders make a substitution. Shot goes up just inside the three-point line and falls through. I believe that was Moeller who just entered the game.
Yeah, that was Moeller. Good shot fake by him to get the defense up and able to drive to the side a little bit and get a nice open mid-range jumper.
Well, I hope they enjoy the looks of those uniforms because it is brutal for us to make out the numbers, even with the monitor right in front of us. So, again, our apologies to the Oak Hills players and fans. Just really tough to make out those black numbers with the silhouette outline in red.
Yeah, from where we are, a little bit of ways away from the court and the black on black, it might take us a second to try to pick out exactly who's scoring the points and who's getting the fouls here on the Highlanders.
Princeton ball underneath their own basket. Successfully inbounding. Managing things up top, Sterling Burkhalter. He passes it off to Randall. Randall's going to back out a little bit. Oak Hills being very aggressive as you near that three-point line, which we've talked about a lot so far in this contest.
And you can just see, a lot of switching by Oak Hills, keeping their zone, but definitely getting up in what looks like a man-to-man defense. And another three.
Greg Johnson with 2 now. 6 points in the game, both becoming beyond the arc. We're under 2 minutes to go, 12-11. Highlanders out in front by a single point. Viking faithful begin the chant of defense. Faking the three-pointer. The Highlanders, they'll continue to move the ball around. There's a three-pointer, it's going to come up from the right side, won't go down. Strong rebound underneath, but turning it over is Burkhalter. And we're going to get a foul on the ground.
Great effort there by Moeller, just rolling around, getting a steal, and fighting for the basketball there. Looked like Princeton had secured possession, but just a great effort to try to get the ball back and get a foul.
That one was called on Sterling Burkhalter. It's his second foul for the Vikings. Oak Hills ball. No, again, try to eat a lot of clock here as we approach the end of the second quarter. Under 90 seconds away. Good trapping defense by the Vikings, causing some problems for the Highlanders. Managed to hang on to possession. Feet inside from 15 feet. They'll kick it back out. Great ball movement by the Highlanders. There's a ball fake. Shot won't fall. It's rebounded underneath by Crawford. Here come the Vikings. Just about 60 seconds left to try to find something that'll work. Take into the locker room at halftime. Very nearly a turnover. Randall went up to shoot and the ball was swatted away. Able to hang on to it. Princeton maintains possession. Now 45 seconds to go.
This Oak Hills defense has been all over the place. I mean, they've had a number of steals and then probably just as many swatted balls that didn't come up for steals. So.
Yeah, I mean, you just saw in that play right there, Princeton will come over and set a screen, but then another Oak Hills defender steps up to clog that lane that might have been created by the screen.
It's something you got to be cognizant for 94 feet. I mean, right after you get the rebound, there's hands coming in swatting, whether you're at your own basket or in the paint, they're coming after you.
Of course, no shot clock in the Ohio high school games. Just 6 schools in the country, or 6 states in the country, have a high school shot clock. And of course, Ohio is not one of them. The last shot will not fall through for Randall. We're going to get a whistle again with under a second to go in the quarter. 7/10 showing on the game clock. It'll be Princeton ball. Maybe enough time for a catch and shoot if you inbound it cleanly.
Oh, what a tip there.
Micah Thomas does exactly that. It wasn't the cleanest shot or cleanest catch in the world, but enough to get a hand on it and send it back the other way. So we'll get another look at it on replay here as soon as our producer extraordinaire can get it dialed up in the truck Simstrot. So let's take a look at that play. Here you see the ball gets inbounded. And yeah, just a one-handed effort there by Micah Thomas to catch that on the inbound pass and send it back the other way.
Great effort by Thomas, having his one hand to kind of keep the defender off of him and just able to get the right hand up and put it in. No time to think about it, just time to put it in the basket. And Princeton takes the lead going into halftime.
It is Princeton 13, Oak Hills 12. The Vikings' first lead of the night coming at the end of the second quarter. Glenn Olson and Greg Miller will be back with the second half in just a moment.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Ohio. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Greg, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Hi, I'm Clark Kellogg. I've attended basketball games from coast to coast over the years as a participant, broadcaster, parent, and fan. And believe me, I've seen my share of unsporting behavior. The purpose of school sports is for kids to have fun, develop their skills, and learn lessons that will last a lifetime. So when you attend a school contest, please keep that in mind. Remember to behave in a way that reflects positively on your child, your school, and your community. Let's respect the game.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association.
Welcome back to high school hoops. Princeton Vikings lead the Oak Hills Highlanders 13-12. Greg Miller with you. Going to cue up how the Vikings were able to take their first and only lead of the game so far with 7/10 of a second remaining in the second quarter. Eric Johann's going to do a great job of following the tip in by Micah Thomas. On this shot you're about to see right here. Watch Greg Johnson inbound it. And just a one-handed tip in by Thomas. Greg, take us through the stat sheet quickly.
Yeah, so far Princeton leading Oak Hills 13-12. Oak Hills 5 of 14 from the floor, 1 of 5 from 3. Princeton 5 of 11 from the field, 3 of 7 from 3. Leading scorers Zach Mueller with 5 and Greg Johnson with 6 points. One of the big stats, Princeton with 5 turnovers early, Oak Hills with 3.
Vikings outscored the Highlanders 8-4 in the second quarter, and they'll get the first crack on offense here in the second half as we switch sides in this GMC contest.
Oak Hills actually opened up on an 8-0 run, have been outscored 13-4 since then, so see if they can get things going to start the second half.
Boy, Thomas had an opportunity to get some points down there, but again, it's just being pushed all around. Every time he touches the ball underneath the basket, his shot would not go through.
Defense really collapsing down there. Might be good to get him a touch on the block and try to kick it back out for some open shots.
Oak Hills trying to get something going in the perimeter. They'll kick it back out for a three-pointer, and it falls through. It's number 21, Zach Moeller. He has 8 points in the game now. It's his second three-pointer, second in a row.
Well, Princeton had the lead for all of about a minute. Gave it right back. Looked to be an illegal screen there.
Caleb Crawford is going to pick up his second foul. So we'll keep an eye on that. He usually logs a lot of minutes for Princeton. Oak Hills back down in their offensive half court quickly.
Princeton starting out again in what looks to be either a 1-2-2 or a 3-2 zone defense here.
And again, giving Oak Hills all kinds of problems trying to get anything going inside that three-point line, although they've had a little more luck than Princeton has so far. But Oak Hills elects to launch threes here in the early moments of the third quarter. That one will not fall, though.
Randall with a nice drive and a little Euro step to the hoop. He'll get a basket to tie it up. Be a quick timeout for the Vikings. Maybe something coach sees. May want to make some adjustments here early in the second half.
Yeah, Princeton will use timeout number 2 of the game. Let's go back and take a look at the last play, Greg.
And you can see Randall just pushing the ball up the court. Sees a lane. Little stutter step there. Looks even better in the coral colored shoes he's got on. So nice basket there for him. He has 5 for the game.
Both teams about to break the huddle. Come back out onto the floor after the timeout by Princeton. 6:15. Princeton with 3 timeouts left. Oak Hills fall 5.
Princeton coming back into that full court press that they showed a little bit in the first half. Oak Hills breaks it pretty easily and will get started in their offense. Princeton really bringing out the zone though.
Yeah, Coach Wright says, well, if you're going to shoot from the perimeter, we'll put a little pressure on you, and there's a foul away from the ball. Caleb Crawford, look of disgust with the hands on the hips. All kinds of hand checking down underneath. Checking into the game is Bowen Hardman.
Yeah, that's 3 on Crawford, so he's going to have to come out of the game for a little bit.
Yeah, you saw Matt Velter being pretty animated, making the call about all the hand slapping going on down in the paint.
It's definitely been a physical game down in the paint. We'll see if the refs call a little bit more here in the second half.
Yep.
That's a nice little step-through shot there.
Yeah, bounce pass inside, and Berkemeyer gets his 5th point of the game.
Berkemeyer really skilled on the inside, as we said earlier. Shooting 63% from the floor, so he's one of those guys that when he gets close to the basket, he doesn't miss a whole lot.
Here come the Vikings in that familiar weave out on the perimeter, trying to see if anything will open up inside. Randall thinks about going in, kicks it over to Hardman. Hardman's shot will not fall. Oak Hills has a hard time coming up with it, and there to pick the pocket is Sterling Burkhalter. He'll take it straight to the basket.
That's a great play by Burkhalter, the two-man trap, and they get an easy steal and a chance for a quick layup, which is something that you need against that Oak Hills defense. Any easy points you can get, you got to take advantage of.
Really what Princeton's going to have to do is put the pressure on and take advantage of the opportunities. Another long three will not fall. Jaheim Thomas comes up with the ball. Gives it back over to Darius Randall. You can see there in the orange high tops at midcourt.
Third three already there for Oak Hills. Only 5 threes attempted in the first half. So far, 3 already, but still not much success. Only 1 for 3 in this half. 2 for 8 overall in the game.
Well, they've gotten pretty good looks at the basket too, so it's not really been Princeton's defense that is putting pressure on the shooter. It's just shots not falling.
Yeah, Oak Hills as a whole shooting about 36% from 3 this year, so they can shoot it, but just not quite getting it done. As a nice
Randall
drive and baseline pass.
Randall made it look like he was going to the hole, and then Burkhalter came in through the back door. He fed him. Nice play by the Vikings. Oak Hills again with another 3, well off the mark. That one's not even close to going in. There's a rebound, and the shot falls through underneath. Zach Moeller now with 10 points. Comes in averaging just under 11, so he's just about to his scoring average already. Randall physical, but couldn't get much out of that. Vikings will continue to pass it around the perimeter.
Scoring start to pick up a little bit here in the second half. I mean, only 25 total points in the first half. Deep 3 there by Randall.
Yep. Well, the line's at 19-9. He was at least 3 feet beyond that.
Burkhalter trying to control that rebound, but just a little too deep and off his leg and out of bounds. Princeton staying with this full court press, trying to get a trap and maybe a easy turnover. Oak Hills, for the most part, has done a good job breaking it, though.
Now that seems like they're going to have a better opportunity of getting easy points that way than running their offense against this Oak Hills defense. We approach the 3-minute mark of the third quarter. All tied up at 19, and another foul away from the ball.
A lot of physicality, especially when the Highlanders are on offense. Seems like there's been about 3 calls for hand fighting on Princeton, just trying to play defense against those Oak Hills bigs.
That was called on Greg Johnson. He picks up foul number 2 for the Vikings. Third foul of the half. 3-pointer won't go. Bodies flying everywhere in the paint.
And just a tough time for Oak Hills on that possession. Got about 3 good opportunities. See here earlier. Looked like that got blocked there. Maybe should have been a jump ball, but early saw the foot slip a little bit by Berkemeyer. Maybe got away with a little bit of a travel there, but either way, it's Princeton ball.
Foul was called on Berkemeyer, his first, Oak Hills' second of the half. And another whistle underneath. So I think what I said in the first half is starting to come true. Eventually the referees were going to try to take away some of the physicality of this game.
I mean, this is definitely being a defensive battle. You expect some physicality. Try to get points however you can. Try to get position however you can, especially down in the paint where you can get some easy points.
Number 12, Adonis Canaris, has whistled for his first foul. Oak Hills' third of the half. Pull up for Randall will not go, and another whistle. So what had been a very brisk pace has been slowed down by our officials.
Looked like the foul there was on number 21, Zach Moeller. So Randall will go back to the line. 0 for 4 in the first half from the line for the Vikings. And their free throw woes continue here. 0 for 5 from the line. Randall 0 for 3 today.
That's tough. Vikings need to get buckets however they can get them. I think they actually called that foul on Grant Rimbold as he takes a seat on the bench. Scoreboard says he has 2.
Oh,
in and out. Wow.
0 for 6 for the Vikings.
But Stephen Wright's going to order up new rims at this rate on both ends of the floor.
Well, with as low scoring as it's been, maybe a little bit of a softer rim could help out both teams.
Maybe some extra free throw shooting practice, one or the other. That's just...
I'm sure that's going to be a focal point at the next practice.
Well, you know, going into the tournament, you're going to get a lot of that let them play kind of stuff. So when you do get the opportunity to go to the free throw line, you have to make them. And this is not the kind of trend you want to carry into a tournament starting up here the week after next.
Yeah, you don't want to miss out on easy points. And then, you know, if it turns into a fouling contest at the end of the game, it's certainly not something you want to let a team back into the game because you can't hit your free throws.
Yep. Long three-pointer for Oak Hills. One echo, rebounded easily by Thomas underneath. As we mentioned, the Vikings will open up tournament play against Anderson on the 21st, so that's actually a week from Thursday, so 9 days away as we record this game. Or if you're watching it live on our website, 9 days away.
Very aggressive defense by Oak Hills, trying to draw an offensive foul there. Ref just lets it go, looked like a little bit of a flop, but Princeton will have a chance to try to work the ball around a little bit. Whole lot of dribbling up at the top of the key, though.
Well, probably going to try to burn some clock now. We're under a minute to go in the third quarter. Baseline drive by Randall. They'll kick it around, though. He won't try to go to the hole with it. Kicking the hard way to nowhere. Taking that across the baseline without trying to shoot. And they will back off. There you see Randall in the bright orange high tops. They'll try to dribble out the closing moments of the third quarter here, all tied up at 19.
It's the one thing that's tough in a no-shot clock game. You can pull it out with 40 seconds left and just kind of hope for the best. It's been about a minute possession here for the Vikings, and they seem content to take the last shot here of the third quarter.
Boy, you see a lot of this in tournament play, especially in the early parts of the tournament where you get a 2 versus a 31, for example, just teams playing stall ball.
Yeah,
Dean Smith, 4 corners.
Just trying to limit possessions.
Three-pointer won't go through for Hardman. The rebound will not be off in time, so we will go into the final quarter all tied at 19. A 7-6 scoring advantage for Oak Hills in the third quarter.
Now going into this game, I'm sure we all expected a 19-19 game through 3 quarters. Both teams averaging about 55, so I think we're gonna end up just a little bit short of that there tonight.
Put our ICRC-TV Sports TV replay schedule on the screen for you for our Spectrum, easy for me to say, and Optics customers. Of course, you can catch all of our content on demand at our website, www.icrctv.com, ICRC-TV.com. Be sure to check us out on social media as well, especially the ICRC-TV YouTube page.
Disappointed to not see a replay on Valentine's Day. I mean, what could be better? A little bit of Oak Hills Princeton basketball with me and you, Glenn. I couldn't imagine a better Valentine's Day date.
What a romantic night. With all this black and red on the floor here and white, yeah. So no one's buying it, by the way, but I appreciate the effort for one.
It was worth a shot. Yeah, you know, we'll try to get some sparks and some fireworks here tonight as well, as it's only 19-19.
Yeah,
in the fourth quarter.
38 total points after 3 quarters. I would have thought that would be one team's offensive output, not both combined. So at least you know the defense is working going into the tournament. Now you've got to get the free throws and the 3-pointers working for both of these teams if they want to try to make a deep run. Oak Hills, of course, the #1 seed. They're undefeated on the year, or excuse me, Moeller, undefeated on the year. #1 overall seed in Southwest Ohio. All eyes are on the Crusaders. Some big news out of the football program at Moeller this week. Doug Rossfeld, the Moeller alum, first-year head coach, stepping away to join the Cincinnati Bengals coaching staff. So once again, Crusaders football job is open.
Yeah, and that just after 1 year stepping away, but joining former University of Cincinnati quarterback coach and the new head coach of the Bengals, Zach Taylor, out there. So it should be interesting to see what they do with a new coach finally after about 16 years.
Long overdue, I think it's fair to say. Caleb Crawford, coast to coast there, and believe it or not, I believe that's Crawford's first points of the game. Princeton's back in front, 21-19.
And that's the way to get points. I mean, you know, beat the defense down the floor, not give them a chance to set up that pack line and get some easy-ish points.
Oak Hills is a very good team. I don't know that they have anybody on the floor that's going to win a foot race with the Vikings at the other end of the floor. So that's the way Princeton's going to have to do it, is to be aggressive defensively and race to the other end before Oak Hills can get their defense in place. Meanwhile, they're staying physical on defense, but they leave DeAndre Hayes wide open, and he makes him pay with a three-pointer. Hayes' first points of the game. Drive into the lane, will not go. Crawford's looking around for a foul. Meanwhile, it's still a live ball.
Crawford's thinking, I haven't been called for about 3 fouls today. You think I could get one called on me, but looks like they let it go. Not really much there.
Yep.
A little bit of physical play here.
Saw Greg Johnson wanting a double dribble. That wasn't forthcoming either. Now timeout's going to be taken by Mike Price and the Highlanders. Be Oak Hills' first timeout. So let's go back and take a look at the goings-on at midcourt there a few moments ago. See ball deflection, bodies flying everywhere. Hayes comes up with it. Of course, mentioned earlier, Coach Mike Price earned his 400th career win back on January 26th against the Middletown Middies. He's picked up 4 wins since then. He now sits at 404. Good look at the Vikings student section here. Underneath one end of the playing surface at Viking Arena.
Definitely an interesting setup, seeing the students kind of under the awning, but always good to see the students behind the basket, giving the team a little bit extra when they need it down on that side.
Very expansive arena here at Princeton High School. It, of course, plays host to the opening rounds of the girls Division I basketball tournament here in Ohio. Beautiful facility, great parking, plenty of seating, and an eager team of volunteers and professionals willing to put in the hard work to pull off the long days and nights of a basketball tournament. So we're back after the timeout. Of course, it's Oak Hills ball. They lead by 1, approaching the 5:30 mark of the contest. Three-pointer, Hayes. Won't go through, rebounded underneath by Johnson. Randall quickly puts up an elbow, but I think the whistle came in before that elbow went up. We'll see what the call is.
Yeah, looks like they're going to call a block there. Randall getting his 3rd opportunity at the line. As you can see, the replay of the quick steal here and the outlet pass. Great outlet pass to find Randall. You can see the little hand check there before the...
So that'll go on Hayes. That's his 2nd. Oak Hills now with 5 team fouls. The Vikings with 3.
Randall making that shot. Now 1 for 5 from the line after he hits his first free throw of the night.
6 points in the game unofficially and make it 7. And they're coming at a good time. Vikings out in front, 23-22. Here in the 4th quarter.
Princeton picking up a little 3-quarter court press, trying to cause some issues.
Burkhalter got a hand on that one, but it dribbled out of bounds. It'll stay with the Highlanders, but the right idea by Burkhalter there.
See some speed by Princeton and just trying to speed them up, force some unforced errors, and just try to get the ball back and expand on the 1-point lead that they've been able to get right now.
Hayes with the ball for the Highlanders. Seems to have been sort of the go-to guy here in the second half, but there's a feed into the paint, and that one will fall through for Berkemeyer. 7 points in the game. He's well off his average of 11.5 so far. We'll see how much they lean on him the closing 4.5 minutes of this contest.
Be interesting if it turns into Berkmeyer versus Randall, 2 leading scorers. They're definitely the go-to guys in the game.
Long three-pointer off the back iron, won't go for Johnson. Rebounded by Hayes and the Highlanders. They'll bring it down.
Johnson does have a couple threes, but I think that was kind of a quick shot. Could have gotten that at any point in the possession. Would have liked to see them work it a little bit more into the inside. Almost a steal there.
Yeah. And like the Vikings may want to start to turn up the defensive intensity. There's Burkhalter once again, used that long wingspan to try to reach in and swat that ball away. The ball did go out of bounds, though. It's going to be Oak Hill's ball on the side. Their own basket. They'll reset the offense up top as Hayes brings it down and be guarded closely by Burkhalter. Quick feed inside and good ball movement out to the right side. Three-pointer won't go, rebounded by Randall.
Randall just speeding down the floor.
And now he'll get a charge. Boy, Coach Stephen Wright not happy with that call.
That was a very close play, but great defensive position to step in front. Randall has done the same move where he kind of takes the Euro step out to the right and tries to come back to his left hand, and the defense was ready for it to get the charge there.
We get away with that so many times, right? The players are going to start to remember that.
Go back to the well too many times, as it looks like Oak Hills called the timeout.
Yep, Mike Price will take his second timeout of the game. Both teams now have 3 remaining.
Be interesting to see here with just under 3.5 minutes how slowly the teams might work with how few and far between the points have come.
So we will reset the situation for you during this quick timeout. It's Oak Hills 24, Princeton 23. The possession arrow is in favor of the Vikings. Both teams with 3 timeouts. Caleb Crawford, really the only Viking in foul trouble. He has 3, and none on the Oak Hills side unofficially with 3. Grant Rimbold has 2. So that's what you need to know for the final 3 minutes and 28 seconds of regulation here from Princeton High School. Princeton's going to have to do a little bit better job of getting out defensively on those wings. They're leaving Oak Hills pretty open. Boy, that's Darius Randall with a pretty good shove of a Highlander you just saw on your screen. That'll be his second foul.
Only the 5th on the Vikings, 5 for each team. So good news is they at least have some to give. It's not going to come back to bite them, at least as far as free throws go yet.
Yep, three-pointer in the corner. It's off the mark and maybe partially deflected by Johnson. So the Vikings ball underneath the Highlanders basket. 24-23, Oak Hills out in front. Owen Hardman set the check-in for the Vikings, but he'll take a seat back on the bench now. And that was more of a heave than a shot that went up for Johnson, and it sails out of bounds. Maybe somebody caught him on the arm or caught a finger on the ball to send that one tailing off to the right side of the backboard.
Looked like he was looking for Crawford there on kind of a backdoor cut, but Crawford kind of got caught behind the basket there and didn't actually go up the jump there on the pseudo alley-oop.
And a pretty good chance you're not going to get away with that against Oak Hills in the paint, right?
And maybe not exactly something you want to try with, just under 3 minutes to go in a 1-point game, but you try to find points however you can get them against this Oak Hills defense.
Under 2:30 now, Oak Hills being very patient on offense. They find a crease and get a bucket.
Looked to be Zach Moeller there on the basket.
So Moeller now with 12 points in the game. Princeton will take a timeout. That's their 3rd of the game, so they'll have 2 remaining for the final 2:17. Let's go back and take a look at that last Highlanders basket, Greg.
Yeah, and you can see just able to seal the man off the free throw line, and Moeller, once you get past the man at the free throw line, no one to rotate and help defense, and just an easy layup there.
26-23, Oak Hills out in front, 2:17 remaining. Coach Stephen Wright called the timeout to try to make some adjustments with his Vikings, fighting to stay relevant in a GMC contest that looks to be going the way of Lakota East at this point. They're all alone in first place. Oak Hills, of course, is tied for second with Mason. Mason's been playing very good basketball this year.
Yeah, Oak Hills with the slightest of outside chances to, possibly get a share of the lead, but that would require the 13-1 Thunderbirds to drop a game, which just does not seem likely at all at this point.
Yeah, they are at Hamilton tonight and close with Sycamore, so I would say the odds on a surface level very much in favor of Lakota East.
As you stated earlier, still 4 seed so far for Oak Hills, so still a great season for them so far. A rebound, a tip up, and looks like it'll be off Oak Hills.
Yeah, Vikings getting a opportunity to try to score points there, which might have been an easy basket. This will not go through, and that's going to be a foul on the inbound play, and I believe that'll be called on number 21, Zach Moeller. That'll be his second.
Now any more fouls on Oak Hills will send the Vikings to the free throw line, so something to stay wary of in the last just under 2 minutes left in the game.
It is confirmed to be on Moeller. 3-point contest, under 150 now. Shot off the rim. Thomas comes up with it, but boy, he gets mangled. And then he'll come up with the basketball on the floor. Did Coach Wright get the timeout in?
Yeah, it looked like there was a quick timeout there, either by one of the players on the floor or Coach Wright, so.
Well, the good news is you maintain possession. The bad news is you've got one left, 1:40 to play.
I mean, you got to look for what's worth it at this point. Down 3, every possession counts, no shot clock. Every, possession might be worth a little bit more than even a timeout at this point. So see if Coach Wright can draw up some sort of play and get the Vikings within 1 or tied.
It's going to be an exciting chess match down the stretch here for sure. Long-time Highlanders coach Mike Price, Stephen Wright in his second year. He played collegiately at Bowling Green in Northern Kentucky, if memory serves me, and then played professionally overseas in Europe. So a lot of good basketball experience, and really done a nice job of stepping into this Vikings program after the sudden off-season resignation of a coach that was coming in a couple of years ago, and really keeping the Vikings relevant. So let's go back and take a look at that last one with Thomas on the floor. Man, it's like a rugby match down there. There you see Thomas very animated and upset getting off the floor there. That continued over onto the sideline, we're told.
Like to see some animation out of the players, but always got to keep some sort of control, especially here in a close game. Don't want to do anything silly to cost your team.
Well, all you have to do is look back to the disciplinary incident that occurred in the tournament last year for the Vikings, and that'll tell you what you need to know. And there's Thomas on the floor again.
And you can see.
Well, now I think we're going to get a technical after the timeout was called. So we'll see how this unfolds. We can get a camera on referee Mr. Galladino at midcourt.
You can see Coach Wright just looking in disgust after having to call a timeout.
And there is a technical.
Princeton assistant coaches talking to the referee right now, still looking to see who the technical fouls are.
Well, I believe it was called on Oak Hills, and if I had to guess, would be Cam Brandis. He was the player there struggling for the basketball with Thomas. I've not been able to confirm that.
I don't know, there looked to be a little bit of hand fighting, some with Oak Hills, and then maybe a little bit of a shove at the end by Thomas. We'll wait a second to hear who the technical foul's on.
You see Andrew Galladino trying to sort things out with the scores table here at Princeton High School.
Looks like he pointed to both sides. Might have been a double technical there on both players.
Well, Cam Brandt is the one showing a foul up on the scoreboard, and that would be the 7th team foul for the Highlanders. So we'll try to get things sorted out here. So maybe it was offsetting technicals.
A little bit of jawing after the play, and you know, late in this game, you gotta see the refs take a little bit of control.
Drive to the basket, ball stolen away by the Highlanders. That was Crawford trying to go to the basket. Now we'll get an Oak Hills timeout.
Oak Hills still with a couple of timeouts left to work. Pretty smart timeout to try to get everybody on the same page, and with only 1 minute and 7 seconds left, figure out what the game plan is, either to try to get an easy shot or just try to milk as much time as possible.
Well, Oak Hills has 2 timeouts remaining, Princeton with none. Of course, if you want to come out and volunteer for ICRC-TV, we need you. If you want to learn how to run a camera, learn how to run things in the truck, or even sit up here at a glorious broadcast position high above the court. We need your help. Contact Jason at ICRC-TV.com, Jason at ICRC-TV.com.
And if you're lucky enough, you could one day be sitting at a broadcast table high above the court with Glenn or I calling a Princeton basketball game.
There you go. Hopefully you can make the numbers out of the opponent that day. Greg and I were laughing earlier. We both have had Princeton football games with a similar design on the jerseys, and it's very tough in football as well. So Oak Hill's not the only guilty party in that regard. I guess the players like them, and that's what matters. They don't think about us.
Yeah, I guess it's the new design, and I guess as long as the guys down there in the stripes can read the numbers, not really thinking about us up here.
We'll wait on that foul to get posted. That's on Micah Thomas, his first. So now both teams are in the bonus. 17 fouls apiece. They're going to try to see the drive-by Berkemeyer.
Bowler hits both those free throws to extend the lead up to 5. So look for some quick action here, probably trying to get the ball to Randall. Maybe a quick 3.
And Princeton, no timeouts to work with, so forcing the issue is Randall that time, and he'll get the whistle underneath.
And a little bit of a late whistle there, maybe looking to see if the shot went in, but either way, Randall will get to the line for 2. After missing his first 4, he has made his last 2, so we'll see if he's gotten back in the groove from the charity stripe.
Foul's on Cam Brandt of Oak Hills, his second. First one goes through. Take a look at the replay here of the foul.
See, off the little weaving action, it looked like a couple hands went down, and the ref's arm goes up, which means 2 shots for Princeton.
Randall trying to make this a 3-point deficit for the Vikings, which he does. 9 points in the game now for Randall. He came in averaging 13, so he's a little bit off of his pace at this point.
You see a full court press by Princeton trying to get a 10-second call. Oh, and you can see Coach Stephen Wright is very upset with that foul call.
It's Greg Johnson, that'll be his 3rd.
To be on Greg Johnson, maybe just got in there a little bit too tight with trying to cut off the ball and just not giving the offensive player enough room to move, and that'll send Oak Hills back to the free throw line.
Bowen Hardman will check in. Going to the free throw line, of course, Zach Moeller, excuse me. 29-25, Oak Hills out in front by 4. Just under 39 seconds to go. Took a little while to get there, but finally did for Moeller.
Interesting to see Oak Hills looks to get the friendly rolls here in Sharonville, but quick run to the hoop.
Yep, Caleb Crawford gets his 4th point of the game, going straight to the basket. Cuts the deficit down to 3. Princeton needs a turnover here, and they get one. Can Randall hang on to it? They don't have a timeout, so he just has to roll the ball away. Now there's a struggle for control on the floor, and we finally get a whistle, and the ball will go to Oak Hills. Looks like Oak Hills got a timeout.
Coach Stephen Wright just very upset with the ref there, thinking there may have been a foul there on the floor on Oak Hills, but they're going to let him play a little bit, as they have most of the night.
Boy, Stephen Wright's got to be careful here. He'll get a technical and get out of this game. So there you see the struggle for control. Oak Hills gets the timeout.
See them both fighting for the ball a little bit.
And there you see Stephen Wright beginning to work the officials, wanting the foul before the whistle had even been called or blown. Excuse me.
Looked like there might have been a little bit of extra roughhousing under the basket or as the ball was rolling, but it's tough to call a foul on either player when both teams are fighting for the ball. Oak Hills just able to get possession for enough time to call a timeout, and that's where having those couple extra timeouts really comes in handy for Oak Hills.
Yeah, that's, we talked about it a lot down the stretch. Princeton needing to burn a couple of timeouts there with, a minute and 40 or so to go in the game on a couple of 50-50 balls on the floor, and it comes back to haunt the Vikings. So here we get another look at it from Eric Johan at the other end of the floor.
And you look, Oak Hills looked to just get in with the timeout before Bowen Hardman was able to get his arms in and maybe try to force a jump ball.
All right, so the good news for Oak Hills is they have the ball. The bad news is it's right in front of the Vikings bench, which is in the Vikings offensive half court. So they have to take very good care of the basketball. And Princeton, of course, has to foul.
Princeton almost working for a trap. The defense has been great here in the last couple minutes, but just not quite able to force that steal. You can see the trap down here tips the ball, but they're calling for a push as well on Darius Randall.
His 3rd foul of the game. There you see DeAndre Hayes at the free throw line for the Highlanders. This team's ahead by 3 with just under 10.5 seconds to go. First one is good. That's going to make things a little bit harder on the Vikings.
Yeah, here you got to really preach to your team if this one doesn't go in, no fouls, because it's going to be really tough to get 4 points unless you get a 3 and a foul. That becomes a moot point as they'll hit the shot to go up 5.
32-27, under 10 seconds to go. Vikings hoping for a miracle. Shot goes up, rebounded and falls through for Burkhalter. But the game will go final. Your final score, Oak Hills 32, Princeton 29. Vikings will fall to 14-7, 10-5 in the GMC. The Highlanders will move to 15-6 overall, 12-3 in the GMC. Greg, your final thoughts?
I mean, really rough and tumble game there. Definitely anyone's game. Oak Hills defense was just able to make a few more plays. Princeton not able to get a steal there late. And there's one thing to come back on. Oak Hills hitting pretty much all their free throws down the stretch. Princeton missing about 6 early free throws. And at the end of the day, that's the difference in the game.
I can tell you one thing for sure. Based on the defensive effort we saw tonight, I would not want to be Anderson facing Princeton on the 21st or Edgewood or Elder facing Oak Hills on the 28th. Well, Greg, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great game. Once again, Oak Hill does emerge victorious. For Jason Dudley and our on-site producer extraordinaire, Josh Simshrott, I'm Glenn Olson. Thanks for tuning in to High School Hoops on ICRC